Hi, this is Damon Miller again, and in this video I'm going to walk through the process of activating the CloudSwitch Enterprise appliance so we can migrate applications into the cloud. The basic steps are shown here: activation of the appliance, configuration of a cloud account, and setup of a VM location for access to existing virtual machines. If I switch to VMware's virtual infrastructure client, we'll see the console for an appliance that is already running. I wanted to quickly review what I covered in a previous video, namely that we have an IP address and a URL for access to a deployed appliance. If I switch to a browser, we can connect to this appliance. The first time you connect to an appliance, you'll probably see a browser warning similar to this because of the self-signed certificate used for encryption. This is normal, so all you need to do is accept the warning to access the web interface. After accepting the certificate, we'll see Enterprise's activation process. This retrieves a license from CloudSwitch to enable use of the appliance. The first password field is asking for the password you used when deploying the appliance under VMware. The next two fields are the username and password you chose when registering for an account to access the appliance. If I enter this data and click Next, Enterprise will validate our credentials and display the results of our activation process. In this case, I've been given a 14-day evaluation license. I'll click Next and the migration wizard will be launched. Since we haven't yet provided a way to access existing applications, the appliance is asking us to create a VM location. I'm going to choose Virtual Center since that's where my applications reside. I'll provide basic connectivity information such as hostname, username, and password, and we'll move on to selecting applications to migrate. Here we see the familiar Virtual Center hierarchy, so I'll drill into our data center and select an application for migration. The next step will display basic information about the application we selected: memory, CPUs, and disk size, for example. If I move to the next step in the wizard, we'll see the results of our CloudFit analysis. Here, we're recommending a small container based on the characteristics of this particular application. This can be changed at any time, but based on the hardware resources used by this application, a small is the most appropriate fit. There's one more piece of information needed before we can begin the migration process, and that's the Amazon Cloud account. Since this is the first time we've used our import wizard, the appliance doesn't have access to an account for starting instances within the cloud. The two values Enterprise wants here are actually different from the username and password used to access Amazon's EC2 website. Because this can be a little confusing, I'll show you exactly where these can be acquired from Amazon's website. Okay, I've switched to a web browser that is viewing Amazon's Web Services homepage. That's aws.amazon.com. If I click on Account at the top right, we'll see a couple more options related to account management. We're actually interested in the security credentials link just about at the middle of the page. If I click this link, Amazon will require us to log in. Once I do that, we'll see the link we're actually looking for, the Access Credentials link. Following this link will expose our access key ID, and if I click Show, we'll also see our secret access key. I'm going to copy these two values into Enterprise's activation wizard. After doing that, I can click Go, and Enterprise will automatically migrate our application into the cloud. This process can take some time, depending on the size of the application being migrated. I'm going to fast forward through the migration process so we can see the end result: our application started in the cloud. Great, our application is up and running with the same IP address it had when it was running under VMware. At this point, you should be able to access the application just as you always have, whether SSH, HTTP, or other protocol. That's the end of this video, so be sure to check out the rest of our content. Thanks for listening.